We in the street, but
Translate that real quick.
Well,
say it in the street.
I'm gonna say it in the street. This shit is for fun. Don't take us seriously.
Do not take my real estate advice. I'm the worst at this shit. I'm an impulsive buyer, right? Yo, we're back. In the Street Talk podcast. I was gonna say in the Street Talk radio.
Yeah,
that sounds good too.
That's a step up.
Good.
Yeah,
we're not far from it.
Yo, Jay, what's up, Apple?
We're moving
Man,
on.
another day, another banger over here, bro.
Oh, you gotta be
back
consistent.
at
You gotta
it.
be consistent. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another quarter. What
You know
is
why
it, bro?
this is a banger? Because we have an honorary guest.
Yeah.
Somebody who's
I think he's
actually
becoming
a close friend of ours.
He's becoming a host. He's becoming a host.
It's gonna be part
without getting paid.
There'll be an invoice forthcoming.
Yo, Jelly, what's up, Bobby?
Everything good. Everything
Bro,
good.
you have some balls, bro.
Why?
To wear that hoodie.
Ahí va.
That hoodie, bro.
Yeah, I want to know why. Like,
I'm
please,
just
I need the audience to right
I'm a
now
diehard
call.
fan,
Just
man.
dial in.
Whoever's not
You
watching,
gotta like them
whoever's
on the
not
bad as
watching,
you like them at the
that's
good.
true. I agree with that,
it.
but
You're
I still
committed.
gotta make fun of it.
Committed.
I'll give you one thing.
Whoever's not watching on YouTube, he has a blue New York Giants hoodie on,
What color is it supposed to be?
front
It's not
and
blue.
center.
I mean, it could be red or white.
It could be red
Yeah,
and white.
well, but I'm
No,
wearing
I'm
the
just
blue.
saying. I'm describing for the audience, bro.
But again, look, this could be our next topic: loyalty.
all right, bro.
Because he's loyal,
Send
loyal.
it to us.
And you committed.
Send it to the producer. Send it to the producer. Yo,
Producer, please hold
Reyes,
us accountable.
welcome
to that.
back, bro. Welcome back, Reyes.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
We got our boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rafael Reyes.
Hey,
Yo, how
man.
you been, bro? I feel like you were here last week.
Feels like it. It feels like it. I mean, I really enjoyed the last time I was here with y'all.
Nah,
so.
we
good.
actually had a
me.
lot
Not
of
only that, we get a lot of
Good
requests
energy.
to bring you back on.
Bring Reyes
You know.
back on. We need those mortgages
Appreciate
right
that,
now.
y'all.
So
Appreciate
Yo,
Come on,
that
talk to us.
mortgage episode, people hit us up a lot about it. So it was good. But this time we brought you back because there's some stuff going on right now on social media, especially in our communities, regarding, the term is being pushed around, right? We're gonna really go into what it is, but the whole Ponzi scheme thing, right?
are you talking about the People's Choice?
We're talking about who's that? DJ Envy?
Oh shit.
Well, DJ Envy's one of them, right? Flippin' NJ, right? But before we get into that, because Ray has agreed to do the episode, but we gotta let him say his whole
We
disclaimer.
need a closed caption,
and
yeah.
we gotta let him say his thing, So we brought Ray
Safeguard himself, right, Ray?
I mean,
He's-
we got
He says
livelihoods
he's
to protect.
he says he's
We got little
protecting.
girls to look
He
after,
says he's
man.
protecting us too, bro.
So, yeah,
Gotta
we
stay
appreciate
protected.
that.
Yo, but Reyes, you want to go into your disclaimers, bro, before we get into it?
Yeah, hold on. This is important, man.
Very
I-
detailed,
I-
very-
agree.
Legalities.
I agree.
Legalities.
It
Hold
was
on.
vetted by a lawyer that Ralph has.
Rob's
Yeah,
lawyer.
I
Yeah,
have to
that's
make
good,
sure
that's
it's
good.
Viewed. All right, I'm gonna try to do this as quickly as I possibly can. Well, the information provided in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only.
There you go.
It's not intended to be, nor should it be construed as professional, financial, legal, or investment advice. The content presented reflects views and opinions of the hosts and the guests.
No, you protected us in there too.
Yeah.
We got to make sure,
We
okay?
got that legal
And
advice.
does not guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or suitability of the information discussed.
And I'll read his whole, because he sent us
I want you to
a
summarize
2-page
that too.
disclaimer. So I'm gonna go
You're
into
gonna have to summarize it.
Let me say, and let me get my radio, and look at Jelly over here.
Let him read it.
Yo, let him read it. I can't believe we've never done this shit in the past, right? That's what he's probably
Well,
thinking right now.
I was shopping for the rates.
So
the higher end.
So real estate investments involve inherent risks and individuals. Yeah, real estate investments involve inherent risks, and individuals should conduct their own research and seek professional advice before making any investment decisions. The podcast content is not a substitute for personalized advice from qualified professionals who understand your individual circumstances. And I think we threw away our whole essence by going through that whole disclaimer.
Wow, we're supposed to be in the street,
Yo,
Yeah, so
we in the street, but
translate that real quick. Well, say it in the street.
I'm
terminology.
gonna say it in the street. This shit is for fun. don't take us seriously.
Do not take my real estate advice. I'm the worst at this shit. I'm an impulsive buyer, right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. Well, Ralph will be the first one to tell you guys, yeah, these guys invest crazy, bro. Like I tell them not to, and they still do.
They still do it.
Just don't listen.
All right. So now we got that out the way. Good. Hopefully we didn't lose half our audience there, but I don't think we did. I think we're good. We're protected, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so social media has been going crazy with this whole not everybody, but most people have heard about this whole flipping NJ, the Cesar Pina thing. It came out on NBC. This guy was literally, allegedly, right? He's allegedly being accused of defrauding investors, right? To invest in flipping houses, right? That was his whole thing, flipping NJ. And then he turned that into what a lot of people do, right? That we discussed, Jay, on one of our episodes, where now you become like the GOAT of a certain industry, and now you're doing seminars and charging people to come listen to you speak, right? So he became a public speaker, and then whatever, all that thing. We wanted to bring Reyes on because because this happened in the New York City area, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. We know people who got involved in that investment, right? And there are other investments, but who haven't had the best experience. Again, we're gonna say allegedly, innocent until proven guilty. We'll say all that. Now Reyes got me in this whole I'm gonna say a disclaimer after every 2 sentences. But so we wanted to bring Reyes. So first of all, let's talk about what the hell is a Ponzi scheme, right? I think the first time a lot of us heard about a Ponzi scheme, even though when I
wait, you forgot a part.
What did I forget?
You remember when you were at my office that day, and
yes,
that's an important piece.
You should say it.
No, I think you should say it. Yeah, because
Okay.
you were the one who came to me
from there, yeah.
with this stuff, and
It's
I was
true.
like, oh God,
No,
this sounds terrible.
So I came. So Reyes and I have been doing business for a while. We're great friends. I consider him a friend. We're in his office one day, and I get this whole invest in flipping NJ thing was all the rave. So everybody's like, yo, we should invest. I know somebody that could connect you with somebody that knows him. So I, like I do with a lot of things, I called Reyes and I'm talking. No, I was in his office. I'm talking to him about it, and he's like, dude, red flag, red flag, red flag. This doesn't make sense. How's he doing this? How's he doing that? He's just said, and like he always says, I'm not telling you what to do, but be careful. I'm not telling you what to do, but here's what doesn't seem right. Ralph does investing. He's done his own flips and on his own time, right? At some point. So he could probably identify these red flags better than us. And then that was like 2 years ago when I had that conversation with you, right? Like
probably a little longer, I think.
Or a little longer than that.
It was just getting off the ground, yeah.
Right. And then when shit started hitting the fan, or at least the rumors started swirling, Ralph is like, bro, remember when we had this conversation? I said, yeah, I do remember. I spoke to one of our boys about it too. I said, one of our boys was supposed to invest. And I told him, I said, yo, bro, my boy does this, but here's what he says about it. Anyway, so we bring Ralph in to let's not focus specifically on flipping NJ. Like we could talk about it, right? Like, and I think everybody has heard about, and like we could go into detail as to what he's being accused of. But I also want this episode to be about really defining what a Ponzi scheme is. How to identify
how do you
red
identify it
flags?
very early?
How do we, as second, third generation Latinos, right, who are now looking to invest and who now have our own investments, we weren't born in a household where, most of us weren't born in a household where our parents could teach us these things because they weren't doing these types of investments, right? So how do we identify them? And also to talk about like that there are viable investment options out there, right? Like, and we'll get into like the different types of investments, but let's start there. What's a Ponzi scheme? Or let's go to specifically that flipping NJ thing and what I spoke to you about, and what were the red flags that jumped out at you?
Yeah, I mean, basically, in essence, Ponzi scheme is a scheme, right?
Yeah.
You're taking your main goal is to raise new capital so that you can pay off old investors, right? What caught me like specifically with over there was more that, number one, deals are not that easy to find. You could be very creative. But finding a deal is a science. It requires a lot of hard work, and I can tell right away when someone doesn't know how to find a deal. So that was a strike, number one. Number two, I was just asking what were the returns, right? And you said something along the lines of 25%.
Guaranteed.
And I was like, wow. So I was like, number one, the margins, when you do find that deal, if they're that thick, there's a lot of competition for those types of deals. And there's no way you can guarantee an investor who's just bringing capital a 25% return. Like, that just doesn't exist, right? Number four, like, it just, from a transactional perspective, I could typically tell how sophisticated someone is by just looking at them, and I didn't get that sense from that, right? And ultimately, it was just something in my gut. You know, you have to really feel good about who you're going into business with, and I just immediately did not get that.
This is crazy because he mentioned something in the last 2 points. It's something that we briefly touched upon in our previous episodes, right? It's kind of like the person that you're trying to do the business with, if their previous experiences, you know, will hinder their future opportunities, right? In this case, I do agree with you. I feel like, you know, the persona itself didn't fit the type of deal. It's kind of like something wasn't really like aligned into that, right? But in a situation like that, because you mentioned margins, right? Yeah. So let's say that you're a non-sophisticated investor. You're a person who happens to have a couple of dollars, right? And you see that this happened to be an opportunity, right? Unfortunately, sometimes people go with the trend, the wave, right? How or what should have been one of those things that I myself as an investor should have pretty much, I guess, do my own research in terms of how would I know if this deal is thick or thin? Like,
yeah, I mean, look, when you evaluate a real estate deal, right, you don't make, it's not a guarantee. You know, the money's made when you really buy. That's when you make money on a real estate deal, right? To answer your question, it's really running your numbers. Like, you know, you have a lot of softwares out there like Property Shark. You can go on there, you can see who the owners are. You can see what the building allowances are, what the zoning is. So a lot of these deals that were, from what I understand, put together, they were just kind of pie in the sky, you know. So to someone who's just looking to fork over a check, right, who is not doing that type of research, you know, they're gonna get hurt, right? From what I understand, a lot of people got hurt with their life savings. They borrowed money to invest with this guy, and it's just like, you know, and just invest in general. Like, you just really got to really look under the hood, look at how the corporate entity is set up. You know, how is the money secured? Are there double signatures required when there's any withdrawals taking place? All those things really help in protecting you from the money going into other things.
Because in a case like that, like, I mean, the difference is.
Yo, Jay, you don't want to let Jelly talk, bro?
Go ahead, Jelly.
Bro, let Jelly.
I'm just thinking. I'm trying to read his brain, bro. I'm trying to read exactly what he's trying to ask.
I'm kidding, bro. I'm kidding, but let him talk.
I think that a lot of it also is like to what Ray was mentioning earlier, where the inexperience kind of like does you down. You know, it's just like, you know, in many instances, you have people that are saying, you know what, they hear, flipping houses, you know, buy a property, remo it out, you know, sell it. But then they see, you know, someone now in the celebrity aspect where they're saying, oh, this is what we're doing, and, you know, going after, you know, people. And then you say, well, hold on, this is an avenue I can do it. Now I don't have to do that guesswork and do the hard work to find out, you know, if the property is actually being sold or who owns the property. And that's where people fall in and say, you know what, and then they hear the too good to be true part, where we're guaranteeing you, you know, 25% rate of return. Then, you know, for someone that has kind of more experience, we'll be like, hold on, this sounds too good to be true. But for that person that says, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity that I need, that's where they kind of put themselves in those situations.
Yeah. So let's go back to, like, because we're gonna get into tools and how to verify. Because, like, Ralph, you have a bunch of tools that you've recommended to me personally, but let's go back to, like, Ponzi schemes. So number one, we know a Ponzi scheme is, you know, take from Peter to pay Paul, right? So it's like there's really no tangible investment. At least even that person could be telling you, hey, there's an investment, and here's how much money I'm going to yield from it. But when you start hearing, I'm going to guarantee these returns and things like that. So it's like the Bernie Madoff thing, right? It's like this dude was the king of the Ponzi scheme, right? And I believe the Ponzi scheme is named after the first person who did it, like back in the 40s, something like that, but something Ponzi. Anyway, so it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna create the illusion that I'm investing in something and that investment is gonna yield me X return. And then what I do is, if Rafael comes to me first, when I get Jelly, I take Jelly's money instead of really investing it in what I'm saying I'm investing it in. I'm just gonna pay Rafael with a return. What happens if Rafael and Argelis are both giving me a $200,000 investment and I'm guaranteeing Rafael a 25% return, right? That's 50 grand. I got it. So now I got to give Rafael $250,000. I got 200 here, right? So I'm going to do one of two things. I'm going to say, dude, I made you 50 grand. You want to keep your money in? Because if you keep your money in, right, you're going to make more money. Take your profit, take your 50 grand, right? And then keep the 200 and I'll give you another 50 grand in after this deal is done, right? So that's the juggling. The problem with that, as we've seen and history has taught us, is even with somebody as sophisticated as Bernie Madoff was and his whole operation, the bubble eventually bursts because the money that comes in eventually slows down. And then the more successful you are, quote unquote, the more the people coming in to invest with you is, it's supposed to grow, but then the people cashing out will also grow. So you gotta try to maintain a balance. So you gotta have a very sophisticated.
His main job is to go out there and raise more capital, right? And that's not how you invest in real estate. Right. Your job, most of your day should consist of going out there trying to find deals, manage projects, manage expenses, structure deals, right? Obtain financing if that's what you're going for, not raising new capital.
Right. Which is why, one of the things that and it's not just flipping NJ. There's a bunch of people being accused of that in social media now, right? But which is why these people's jobs become creating an image, right? Selling an image.
That's the problem.
Right? The fancy cars.
Because that's what they were selling the seminars.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But
that's what got me too with that whole situation. I was looking, I was like, there's no way. Like there's no.
Dude's like,
we're
no
trying to teach
cars,
how to invest money.
Showing it off. And then when you look at real successful, a generational wealth, right? Like when you look at families that are wealthy, right? These people are not flashy, right? You don't know what they're investing in. They don't publicly say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, right? So to me now, I'm like, all right, that's a flag. So your job, like Rafael said, trying to get people to invest in you, but you're doing that by creating a fake image or selling somebody a dream, which is what social media does now, right? Which is this whole conversation with body images and women and the image that people sell online, right? Or I'm successful, I drive a Lambo. Oh, I'm successful, I fly in a private jet. Oh, I do this. So then you say, oh, I want to fly in a private jet. I want to drive a Lambo. So that becomes their job. So that's another red flag to me personally, which is something that you brought up to me. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you throw it out there to the world? Here's where I'm getting my deal.
What would you give the secret sauce
to other people? A quick story though, when I've done stuff with Rafael where I know how hard it is to get a deal. Selling direct mail, right? Sending mails, right? Buying lists.
Pounding the phone.
Making cold calls, people cursing you out and telling you no. So for you to have a pipeline of leads, a never-ending addresses to flip that you got on deals, bro, it's just a red flag.
In this case, let me ask you a question, because didn't he actually have actual properties?
I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I know. I don't know.
All right. So
if I'm investing, I want to see
what I do know. What bothers me. What bothers me more than anything about this whole situation is the fact that he targeted people that had very little knowledge of how these things really work. Right, so instead of trying to empower our people, and instead of trying to genuinely educate our people, which is where that's powerful. You elected to go the other way, right? And that bothers me because in reality, if you really do put the hard work into this real estate game, you could do very, very well.
Correct.
But it's not as easy and it's not as glamorous as everybody makes it seem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and not every deal's gonna pencil out.
Right.
I mean, did he show people a pro forma, right? Like, what were your projections with construction? You know, what was your exit strategy?
Right.
Like, were these questions asked? You know what I mean?
And they weren't.
I don't know.
And
I
they
have no clue.
weren't. And I think that's what happens. It's probably good to note that sometimes a lot of these things start legitimate. Like sometimes they start off like, look, I flipped the house, I was successful, and then I could say, yo, Jay, I flipped this house, bro. I made X amount of money. You want to throw money into the next one?
I wake 100 times.
And then more people start hearing about it, and then eventually, when shit does hit the fan on the deal, because there will be deals where you lose money or like where shit doesn't go as great. But then when you have such an influx of people giving you money, you could be like, well, let me just cover up this 7% loss here by taking some of this money to do that. So, it should be good to know that happens. But Jay, to your question, or Ralph, you're saying were these questions being asked, right? But we live in an age where a lot of information you have access to readily in the palm of your hands, right? So what are some of the tools that, like, if you are looking to invest specifically in real estate, let's keep it to real estate now. If you are looking to make a real estate investment in flipping or buying to hold, whatever the case is, what are some of the tools, like, let's say the top 5 or 3 or 2 tools that you should know are out there that you should, whether they're free or with a
if you're investing yourself or you're looking to give someone money to invest?
If you're looking to invest,
like similar yourself.
Like if I'm gonna, like, let's say you come to me with a business proposal and I'm looking to invest with
that
you,
got it. Okay.
Right.
Well, the first thing you got to do is
yourself, right?
You got to check me. You got to check me out.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Like, who am I? What have I done? What is my track record?
Who's your team?
Correct. Who's on my team? Right. Like, it's similar to when we talk about projects over there. Like, who's gonna help execute all this? Right. If you can't be a one-man army. Right. So ultimately, you check me out. There are attorneys who have softwares by LexisNexis, right? They do background searches.
Right.
And I'm a big proponent on the fact that people change, right? People can change, right? Like,
so you're saying like second chances and shit?
Yeah. So, but
that's Jay's opinion, not mine. Yeah. Bro. F that. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, listen. The truth is, doing background checks are important.
Right. Yeah.
Do you have an operating agreement in place? Who are the principals of the company, right? What is your extended projection? Again, a pro forma is everything, man. But how many times we've looked at pro formas and played with numbers, and numbers just don't lie. Right? You can't make them up.
This is such an educational, I guess, pot. Right?
Should I read the disclaimer again? Right when he said education.
No,
I'm just saying, bro.
Let's say, for instance,
do it.
I love what you're pitching. I want to go and invest 100.
Jay's expressed opinions.
Well, in what way, right? So you could have done it.
But again, the way that you pretty much put in for the questions to be asked is what I really like, because most people, I'm pretty sure, they did not do that.
Yeah. And that's where it falls.
And where's the project? Like, am I just investing in a fund that's gonna just go out there and purchase anything, or am I investing in a specific project, right? Like, let me go see the project, drive by the project. Is the project viable? Like, after you see it, it's a great location. It's, looks like it's growing. All right, let me dig a little deeper. Hey, I'm going to have my attorney contact your attorney, send over operating agreements, send over shareholder agreements. What am I doing? Am I investing in debt? Am I lending you the money at a rip and return? So if I am, then I'm going to hold a note on the property, right? So now your investment is secure because you're a lien holder on that property. So he can't sell that without paying you first,
authorizing, right?
Yeah. In exchange for that, you're getting a rip, right? You're getting a return on that, whether it's 8, 9, 10, or 25%. Right. But at 25% interest, you're not making money, right? So these are the things that, if you're gonna be an equity holder, then there's no way you could guarantee 25%. Like, I can guarantee you X amount of equity in this project, based on the returns that we ultimately end up with. But there's always risk, right? We might not make any money. So now you have your accountant reach out to him. Let me see the books, right? And we start to kind of take a look at where, how the numbers actually line up,
Yeah, I think.
And again, things get more expensive. Prices go up.
Inflation.
Things happen, But ultimately, always go into a deal thinking that
there's risk.
There's risk.
I think a lot of the times you hear ads on even with like money managers, right? Hedge funds, whatever, mutual funds, past performance does not guarantee future results, right? So it's kind of like, I could tell you a projection. Look, typically my investments run at this range in profits. Typically. I'm not telling you this next project is guaranteed to do that, right? But this is typically the types of deals that we get involved in, right? Because I want to segue into the second part of this conversation, and I'll reiterate the disclaimer. None of this, and I'm going to look at the camera, is investment advice, right? None of it is investment advice. We're not telling you what to do with your money, and we're not presenting you with an investment opportunity. I want to be clear.
Do not call Ray or Hellas or Ray tomorrow. But like, yo, I got 10 grand.
They'll call you.
But I do
informational purposes
but one thing that
just to empower the people. That's it.
But one of the things that really bothered me with this whole thing is that now, because of this, right, many people are going to just turn away viable investment opportunities, like opportunities that they could like if you take into consideration all the tools that are out there, like you mentioned Property Shark, right? Like you're able to see who owns this property, like when was this, does this have a mortgage, right? Like is it being foreclosed, etc. If you do your research and you do your homework and everything checks out, right? But now you have somebody that's supposed to be part of our community, right? Or multiple people who are now getting into these people's minds that, I've spoken to people that, well, that's why I never will invest in real estate. That's why I'll never do something like this. And I think that's really the whole sad thing about this whole situation, that now people might just, really, bro? That now.
Is that a timer?
No, that's not. Oh. But that now people are not even going to, a lot of people are not even going to consider real opportunities that could be presented to them.
Really, bro?
Did you just call him?
He just called. You know what I'm gonna laugh at? You know what I'm gonna laugh at? If his phone rings next.
No. So Reyes. So all right. So to segue into that part of the conversation, right? Like, what are real investment opportunities out there that are viable, that can make you money, that are solid investments, given all the research, all the boxes are checked off?
I mean, every deal's different, man. It's difficult to find deals to pencil out, know? Right. And again, I mean, every deal's different. You really have to look at the numbers,
Right. But let's talk about, we've spoken about, I want to get you to talk about syndication, right? Like we've spoken about, because that's a thing. Crowdfunding. Yeah,
I mean, I hear syndications might run into trouble as well. I mean, I've been reading some articles where some of them are levered up, have heavy loans, and so they're running into issues.
I'm not familiar with syndication. So
yeah, it's basically you're buying into a company, right? And
what's that guy's name?
Typically general partner.
Grant Cardone does syndicated
that's
loans,
what he
right?
does.
I mean, I guess that's what he does. Yeah. I mean, look, the guy's built an empire, right? Like with information.
He has a bunch of allegations
marketing.
all the time, also, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's huge, right? And I got to tip my cap to a guy like that. But ultimately, I'm not privy to what he does. But basically, you're getting investors, you're buying into a fund. There's general partners, and then there's limited partners. The investors are typically limited partners. And you get a return on your money based on the performance of that asset.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So again, it's being very clear from the beginning as to what the performance projection is going to be.
Are those the rates, the real estate investment trust?
Now, REITs are different. REITs are more like, they're traded on Wall Street. And they typically pay a dividend.
Right.
But they both have to be
part. Which is also like a fund, but it's a fund. You're investing money into a fund.
They both have to be approved by the SEC,
they all disperse for.
So SEC, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Right? So I know I learned this from Rafael. You have accredited investors and non-accredited investors.
Correct.
Right? So that's another thing.
And that's when you can run into trouble, which I think probably what, because
he might run into.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna take more than a certain amount from you can't take more than a certain amount from a non-accredited investor.
Which one's that one? The one?
So
I think you have it off. So an accredited investor has a certain net worth.
Right.
It all comes down to net worth.
Right.
And there's certain marketing rules that protect non-accredited investors who fall below that net worth and accredited investors. So you can't market in mass to non-accredited investors.
Right.
So
right.
like,
so
can your personal investment be taken in consideration to making a credit or not?
well, yeah, they'll look at your net worth basically. You got to be worth. I think it's over $1 million something.
Well, I know that you the way that
And you have to earn over 200.
But then
a
there's
year, I
like
think.
if you're gonna there are also limits to like if you're gonna invest more than I don't know if you told me $200,000 or
Well, that's the
$100,000.
earning. I think the earning potential is
Right,
200.
but is there a number? Like if I'm gonna go out and raise capital,
No, if you're accredited, it's based on basically what your personal financial statement
if I'm
is.
not
What you're
accredited-
saying. Do I make over
Right.
$200,000 per year over the last 3 years?
Right.
Check, I do.
Right.
Do I have X amount of equity in my house? Check, I do.
right?
You know, and then to look at whatever assets you might have
Can
invested.
you raise capital from a non-accredited investor?
Non-accredited, you could.
Right.
You just can't advertise. You can only advertise. You can't advertise.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't matter the amount of capital that you raise.
Correct.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So-
non-accredited, and I think that's where you run into trouble, right? When you start filling up a stadium or an arena with people to teach them about stuff, and then you're pitching them on investing, and they're
And
not
there's a fine
accredited.
line.
Loophole.
And they're not accredited.
But there's a fine
then you
line.
run into an issue,
It's
right?
like the
And that's
educational
when-
versus sales.
Again, please.
So now you're
read
using
the disclosure again.
You're using the
We
lack
are
of.
not. This is a disclaimer. Let me
Yeah.
go back to it.
And
highlighted
again,
it, bro.
I'm not. I don't know what I'm talking. This is just basic. You know,
The information provided in this
please,
podcast.
yes, loud.
Skating
Again,
on
we
thin
just-
ice in that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but so a lot of things good to know. So again, we're not gonna sit here and tell you everything, but like maybe keywords. Look at what accredited versus non-accredited investors are, and
Where you land in that,
right? And
right? If you're getting, if you're seeing an advertisement and you're not accredited,
Are you non-accredited or are you accredited? Right.
You know, so accredited investors, you know, there's a different. Again, you'll hear something from Grant Cardone saying, you know, on CNBC, this is for accredited investors only, right? You'll see that, and you know, people who are accredited
Dude's
know
been
that they
doing
are.
his thing for 20 plus years. So I'm pretty sure he has.
Yeah, no,
everything
again,
down pat.
that's covered. I'm just throwing it out there, just again to educate people, and hopefully avoiding any type of,
Is it their job to verify whether the person is accredited?
There is a certain, I think, component that they have to. I mean, I've never did any capital raise like that before, so I don't really know. You know, I mean, deals that I've done has been done in a different fashion through partnerships and things like that, but nothing, you know. And again,
Not like crowdfund, not like a crowd fund, right?
correct, no, yeah, but
Right.
but again,
So
I mean,
that's where the person's on thin ice, because it's like if you're
The
bringing
person
in-
saying it, we're talking about Caesar
Yeah.
Peanut, bro. Like you guys are like scared, bro. We're in the street,
Flipping
flipping
NJ.
NJ.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
God,
bro, it's
but-
just.
but
shouldn't
think about
be
it,
like a
you know,
red flag?
The view, whatever
You're
comes out of
doing
my
this
mouth
flip.
is
You're doing-
got a record.
yeah, but not.
oh.
Read the
That's
disclosure.
close. That's probing. Let me read the disclosure. The views expressed by Jay Dollar are specifically Jay Dollar's.
No, Jay Diamond. Because
Bro, Diamond was last week, all right?
But yeah, no, look, I think the what we're getting out of this conversation is number one, do your research, do your own research, build your own team. Also, if you're gonna invest, bro, $100,000. Some people may say it's a lot of money. Some people may say it's not. It doesn't matter. Get your lawyer, right? Get your accountant. Have other people look at it, right? Have your people, right? Have mentors that you talk to. Have coaches that you talk to, right? Like I throw everything at Ralph, right? And Ralph sometimes tells me that I'm wrong, and I'll be like, "F you, bro," but still, no, but still,
you honest-
I
honesty,
get, I get the feedback. We talk about it a lot, like So, I think the most important thing is really do your research, ask the right questions. Maybe Jay could have a post up on IG of like some of the questions to ask when investing
and
or
the
something
thing
like
is
that,
too,
you know?
like you should always ask before you do that. What if things don't go according to plan? What is your plan B?
what's
right?
your risk?
What is your contingency plan?
What's
right?
your risk tolerance?
What's your risk tolerance?
Well, risk tolerance is one thing, but what's your contingency plan if things don't go as planned, right? Like what is it? And you should always get a clear answer.
Exit
there.
strategies.
What's your exit strategy?
Yeah,
And if these things don't all align, what is your plan B?
I think that
and
when it
does it
comes
still
down-
make money, or do we there's a lot of things that you can pivot.
That
But-
comes from a savvy investor's point of view. Right?
Well, I think that's what we're trying
Yeah,
to
right.
say.
And like you said,
You
like
gotta
Rob said,
become a savvy investor.
empowering the community and things like that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, those people that this is their first time investing, I feel like sometimes they get caught into trouble because
But
they
some
just
people
go
got-
based on the wave.
but that's the
They don't do
purpose.
the research, right? And I think that's kind of like the challenge, because it's like if I see that this famous person investing or is is co-signing this deal, I'm more inclined to probably, you know what? Let me put my little 2 cents here. I might come back with a nickel.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, unfortunately, that's where people went wrong.
Yeah, but that's the purpose of this podcast, is to kind of bring that awareness out.
Disclaimer:
don't
we
go-
are not.
No. But I'm saying
Empowering
in terms of
only.
like, in terms of like, you know,
Do your
creating those
research.
questions
Do your
and
research,
you know, say,
right.
you know what, I'm not just gonna go because so and so's promoting it. What happened with that NFT? We had a bunch of famous people
Oh,
promoting it too.
Bitcoin, a bunch of stuff. Like,
So,
you know,
you know.
I
I
mean,
mean,
Dogecoin.
Yeah,
Those-
you got
the guy that
Sam
just got-
Bankman-Fried. This guy just
right.
that guy, you
Right.
know?
This guy, what's his name?
Sam-
Bankman-Fried. And he had a name to be like a banker, bro. His name was, I was like, Sam.
But he had something good going, right? Like,
I don't know how he messed that up, but he obviously.
I'm talking like it was billions.
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
it's
he got sentenced already, like double, triple life sentences and some shit like that.
I'm not sure. I lost
He was
track.
out.
But
No.
no, was his girlfriend?
Just
there?
recently.
One of
He's
them.
fine, yeah.
Yo, his girlfriend flipped on him, bro. We should
He
talk about
threw his
that.
girl in the
Let's
bus.
talk about that when doing your due diligence. Who you're investing with as a partner, because people will flip on you real quick, bro.
That is very.
It's
very
funny because
true.
that flipping
Can't
NJ,
trust
that's what it is.
It's
now,
about to
now
flip.
they're flipping on each other, right? Like,
yeah.
you know, so
Literally flipping.
It's crazy. Now,
So what do you think about the DJ Envy part of it, right? Like, should he be caught? Like, all right, so let's talk about that. And DJ Envy,
they were
use it
partners
because-
though.
But hold on. But then that's the question, right? So accountability, right? Let's take the names away. But if if I'm out there promoting you're doing something, Raphael, and I'm saying, yo, bro, invest with Raphael. This dude's making money, bro. Invest in Raphael. And should I be held liable if Raphael's investment?
1,000%. I think that
think
before,
so?
Absolutely.
when I co-sign someone, is because I already did my fact check. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, like Reyes, you know, every time that like Ray put me on
This
to
for
you.
Reyes' listeners. They're like,
You know-
yo, tell that dude that the ice.
So you know, Ray being my partner, right? So with Ray being my partner, he's like, yo, but talk to my guy, right? So a few years ago, I started talking to you and everything else. I already did my due diligence. I was like, all right, he's the real deal, and he's like, and I appreciate you telling me not to take the deal, even though I want to take the deal. You know what I'm saying? Many people would not do that, and because I already did my fact finding, I'm like, all right, I promote you. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna co-sign Reyes because I already dealt with him and I already know what he's capable of, right? So I think that the someone said that a referral is the best, is the flattering form or whatever. I'm not good quoting that, but I think that if I'm going to co-sign someone, whether it's a referral or whether it's a partner of mine, I should be held accountable and responsible for that, right? My partner
Should you be held accountable criminally, legally, like that? Because there's different
think-
ways to hold somebody accountable.
Yeah, but I think that it should be like, look, if you're my partner and in the partnership, I feel like I should be able to know.
Wait.
Maybe-
If I can prove on paper that yes, you were my partner on paper, that's one thing. But if you're just out there promoting me, is that a different
you're
thing?
not a partner.
I'm just asking.
Well, I think. Look, I think
I'm asking for a friend, bro.
What helps people is obviously the platforms, right? Like you said, referrals. Trust but verify, right?
Right.
And that's a big thing that I always kind of lean on. But ultimately, like given that platform that he was given, help propel, right? So there's definitely
bro.
some
There's
some
a lot to that.
accountability that has to be shared there.
And not only that, on top of that, like the same
Your
way that
personality.
you're expecting the investors to, kind of ask those questions. You should be asking those questions too. Like, hold on, this person's like, failed me here, and I'm still promoting this person. I'm still going out there and saying, let's better the community, let's empower the community when it's not really happening like in your end.
And that's the sad part.
The part that I'm at odds is like you're
final
empowering the
thoughts,
community.
Final thoughts. My bad. Producers looking at me. Final thoughts. Started there.
So you start.
No, whatever you were talking now. That's your
my final thought, bro. Is you can empower someone while still charging at it. Like if they really want to empower the community, I think these seminars should have been free. Maybe not to the masses.
Oh, bro,
the way that it were.
Raphael and I talk about that shit all the time.
If you're gonna empower somebody, shut down auditorium and bring like the first 150, 200 people just come in free. This is on us, right? And you give up that level of education. So I think that number one, yes, unfortunately, if he didn't do his fact finding, he should still be held accountable for whatever happened.
Raise his last. He's the guest. Jen,
I think maybe something should be done in regards to when having a certain set of protocols for people that are even is the first time in doing investments, because I think those are the ones that pay the higher price, because they don't have that experience. They don't have that legal guidance to tell you, look, this doesn't make sense, and this isn't, and for these reasons. Maybe having something, and it's tough to create something like that because people are still going to invest in their ways, but having something where like it's more clear cut as to like, look, this is the type of investment I'm going to be doing. These are the first set of questions I should be asking.
Yeah, look, I would say before doing all your research and knowing what you're getting yourself into, I think be truly ready and prepared to invest. I think you don't have to be an investor when you're not ready to be an investor. Just because other people are investing, like if your friends are investing in real estate, you want to invest in real estate. If you're not ready to invest in real estate, do not invest in real estate, right? Plan to get there, because investing doesn't just mean coming up with X amount of money to put into the pot to get a return. It also means investing money in a lawyer, investing money in an accountant, right? Doing that due diligence can also cost money. Doing a subscription to Property Shark, those things, you got to have the money to do that. It's not about, I saved up 100 grand and it's just all my savings. Let me throw it in here so I can make 50 grand. That's not what it is. Yeah. So if you're not ready to invest, don't invest. Do the research, get ready to invest, right? And prepare yourself and plan yourself. Quote Reyes, who says, yo, dude, anything can be done. We just have to plan for it, right? Like, I want to get into this house. All right, well, you can get into this house. Can you get into this house today? No. Here's what we got to do to get you to get into this house, right? So that's the other thing. The other thing I wanted to touch upon what you said. If you're really trying to empower the community, stop trying to charge the community. Don't pay. Like, if you're really trying to uplift a community, don't get rich by doing that, right? Like, don't try to make money. Don't profit off of that, right? That being said, our Patreon will be down here. No, I'm kidding. That's a lie. Reyes, what you got?
Nah, listen, these are unfortunate things that happen. It really should not deter people from investing. I mean, I think what you guys are doing is great, just trying to empower people. I don't have all the answers, but I always look at things with a skeptical eye, right? And the bottom line is you need advisors, you need attorneys, you need accountants, you need financial planners, right? Because any investment that you are looking to make into any specific project, you got to compare it to other investments that might carry less risk, So if the return seems like it's incredibly high and it sounds like you're going to get rich right away, there's probably a very, very, very high level of risk there, right? Are you diversified enough to make that investment, right? Do you have other safe investments that are going to grow while you take a little bit of more risk over here?
Are you hedging it?
Are you hedging it, right? Like, so you have to really understand where your eggs are, what's in each egg. Talk to your financial planners, talk to attorneys. Attorneys are known to be deal, breakers, not deal makers, but they're going to give you the legality on how to protect yourself. And they're going to give you the worst case scenario. And then you got to digest and see if that's something that you could genuinely deal with, right? And that's really the bottom line.
Reyes, next time you come here, bro, don't come with no disclaimers.
Dude, have to, man.
Leave the disclaimer, man. This is the street talk, baby. It's a wrap.
I'm just here to help you guys, man.
That's a wrap. That's a wrap.